All right, fuckers, we're on. It's live. It's my birthday. Ben's got a newborn son. I am the godfather. James just...
Oh, you're just going straight in with it. You're just going to
I'm just going in. Fuck it. Everybody's going to get all the good news all at once. James just won a fucking pro show. He's going to Olympia. Iain has already won a pro show, and he's on the way to the Olympia. This is... it's been a good month, a good week. Right?
Yeah.
Certainly has.
I don't have any. I don't really have any good news. I just
There's one more.
What?
I just signed with a new supplement company, which I'm allowed to announce now.
But that's not good news. That's bad news.
You didn't pay me enough.
No. It's good news. Good news. So tell everybody, what's the contract? How's that working out?
I'm not telling them what the contract is.
Let's hear the details. We want to know what you're getting paid.
That's the contract. Put it up on the screen.
I'll put it up now. Yeah. Can we do like a screen share for it?
All right. Can you actually? No, seriously.
No. So it's a brand new company. You can't buy anything from them right now other than a pre-workout, which isn't what we're doing. It's Alpha Prime Sports Regimen.
Can I just before you go on, Ben? Can you just tell people, because I've read some shit about Redcon and all that. Can you tell everybody that you left amicably and everything was like?
Yes, because I saw some shit. Like Aaron commented on the post about Phoenix, and he said, "Congratulations, brother." Da, da, da. And someone commented on there, "You don't mean that? You just dropped Ben." I'm like, no, that really wasn't the case.
Yeah.
I left. I had an offer come in, and I requested to be released from my contract. The offer, the reason I left, the main reason, and I've spoken to you about this. I chatted to I spoke to all three of you about this. One of the big things that I'm involved with is product development. So I get to control what goes in. So the last few weeks we've been reformulating products, and we're going premium end. And
so you're basically copying all the Hostile products. Is what you're saying?
It's exactly what I'm doing. I'm putting about. I'm doing exactly the same. I'm doing exactly the same, and then I'm adding. We're doing 2% extra of every ingredient.
Selling it for $2 cheaper.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So we're going slightly above and then undercutting you, and so we launch in middle of November is when we're launching. So it's really exciting for me. Like I say, we're all in this because we love it, and I get to be a part of developing something that I want to take and use.
The fun side.
I think that's a massive opportunity for me. So Redcon treated me incredibly well, and James can attest to that. They've always treated Luke and myself like insanely well. It just was the right decision for me. Obviously, the money side of things helped because I have a family to provide for, and all things came together at the right time. And it's just I have a new fresh opportunity to create something new. And like I say, we discussed the Hostile option, right? We did entertain that idea, and
I told you to go. I told you to go there because I can't listen. Without giving out details, they're paying you a good amount of money, and I can't afford to pay you what they're paying you.
Right.
So friends or no friends, I was like, you got to go. And it's not, you know what? It's not only that. It's not only the money. If you have a chance to be a formulator and make decisions, I mean, that's a good place to be in. I mean, you have some freedom over there, right?
I have input, and they listen to me, and they're excited, and they want to make me happy, and they value my opinion, which I'm not saying Redcon didn't, but I wasn't involved. Like James and I were just athletes. We were involved in the inner workings, you know. Redcon's
a machine. It's a little different. It's a massive corporation, whereas you're getting in on the ground up, so you're going to have more input, more say of how things kind of take off.
Yeah. So it's
good.
And then just before
but it's funny that you mentioned that as your good news for the week.
No, because I'm about because I was waiting. Hang on, hear me out. Because I'm just going to hijack the whole show right now. I'm just taking over. I was waiting for my beautiful wife.
Oh, okay. We're gonna see.
She was getting ready with the little Bubba.
TV debut here.
So
hi.
There we go.
Oh yeah, bring it. Let's see the
proper introduction.
Look at that. That's an off-season face if I've ever seen one. Nice and puffy.
Yeah, so
it's a good looking one. It's a good-looking boy, man. Congratulations.
Yeah,
He says
congratulations, man.
he says happy birthday to
Yeah.
his grandfather.
His grandfather. Grandfather. Fuck you,
His
mother.
godfather.
How old you are, Fouad?
Yeah, how old are you? Like 50?
Well, James said I was 62 in his story, so I've gotten a whole bunch of messages from people congratulating me on being 62.
Yeah.
So we'll just go with 62. Fuck it.
They'd be like, wow, you look great for 62.
So
Yeah,
what's the tell everybody the full name? I like the name.
So I've got headphones in, so Denise can't hear you. His full name is Phoenix Elijah Chow.
Cool.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice.
When's he gonna
I did want Billy Bob, but I got told I got told no because it's too cliche. We're in Texas, and
I was gonna say the Texan. You want to bring that out? Yeah.
When's he start his first cycle?
on what day was Wednesday? Yesterday.
He started-
I mean, he already grew an inch, so
yeah, he's got the good shit. He's got the good stuff.
Yeah.
He's that's when his first cycle was.
Don't tell her that. She's like, I'm out of here. Fuck this.
Yeah.
All right, baby.
All right, enough of Ben. James, I just did a podcast with you.
Yeah, we had a good catch up yesterday, didn't we?
We had a good talk, but now we're on the Bodybuilding Bollocks crew is different. So tell everybody what's up, man. You just crushed everyone at the show, and you're on your way to the Olympia.
Yeah, literally just tried to do an Ian and managed to kind of pull the same. So it's been good. Good replication of the team's doing good. The team's doing strong. So I'm very, very happy. Kind of still hasn't sunk in, if I'm honest. I'm just sitting here and just enjoying the feeling of contentment in the results. So I'm just really chilled. Like this week's just like, So yeah, I don't know how I feel because this is it's a new feeling for me. Obviously, Ian, you won Spain in 2018. So you've been kind of, I suppose, through the feelings before. It's very, very new to me, and I'm kind of just sitting here and taking it all in and letting it happen as slow as it needs to because I don't want it to rush by. I'm just loving it. So yeah, I just feel great. I'm enjoying it, and I'm just watching everyone else now and just having fun catching up with everyone. Obviously, yesterday I sat down and watched your podcast with Jordan. Things that I didn't want to watch when I was prepping, I'm now watching. So I'm catching up with what you've been doing during my prep. Yeah. So yeah, all good. Everything's good, man. I can't complain. I'm feeling.
Can I ask you, James? Is there any element, and this is probably going to leave you completely vulnerable, and it might sound crazy to a lot of people listening, but is there an element of I'm on such a high, I don't want to come down from it, so maybe I should just wait till next year? Is that element at all there?
Of course, there's always going to be something that's present, and like I said to you yesterday, because of the situation with the UK and getting to America, there is still actually a chance that might have to happen. Yeah. So. I'm just waiting a few days, and I've reached out to the IFBB, and I'm just seeing what's what. Yeah. And whatever happens, I'm happy. And
did you guys cover what we discussed, or potentially?
Yeah. But I've still been but I'm kind of not too stressed either way, because like I've said to you guys before, and I'm sure Ian actually feels the same with Patrick. The excitement for me with Patrick is knowing where I can get to, and I know that. What we just did in 6 months is pretty retarded. Like I think I'm blown away with what we did. So I'm just very excited about the future. And if the future is, because things are getting stricter in the UK, COVID lockdowns happening more from tomorrow, London goes into lockdown again. So there's a very high chance that I won't be able to leave this fucking country. And if that's the case, I'm not going to let it rule me and make me feel depressed, because you know how I am. I'm just going to let it be what it is, and I'll use the time productively in one way or another. So we'll see what happens. I've got a few days. Either way it goes, I'm still on a high, because this achievement for me is something that's a lifetime achievement. So I'm not too,
Ian, what's going on with you, man? Your prep going well still? Everything's kind of on track? Yeah.
You look nasty, mate. I see you doing those deadlifts on the fucking
so I tried that thing out. It was good. I kind of like that thing. I don't know if you saw it, Fouad, but
I did see that. Is that is it not hammer strength? Is it?
It's an arsenal piece, actually.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. I did see you. How many plates were you doing on that thing?
That was 7.
Oh, that's not a lot. It's not just warming up.
Crazy on that. I was like, that's a good look.
Yeah, no, that was good. So, but no, prep's going really well. I mean, we're just, I feel like I'm still improving really well. I think this is the time where I think I really thrive the most.
Look at this, you fucking animal.
I know. Look at him. Look at the fucking arms and shoulders.
Hey, that's similar to the Arsenal piece of kit that I ordered for the house.
I love it.
Is that the multiflex?
I don't know what it's called. It's just this new gym I was at. They have a bunch of Arsenal pieces there. This is like a little hidden gem because I mean we're in the same spot as you, James, right now here in Canada, like where Fouad and I are in Ontario. They're going back into closures again. So gyms where I live in Ottawa and in Toronto area have closed again.
I'm lucky where I'm at. I'm about 8 hours from Iain and 4 hours from Toronto. We're still open, but I don't know for how long because usually we end up following suit eventually.
Yeah. So where I actually train is outside of Ottawa. I live in like a rural suburb outside of Ottawa, and this gym is in a rural area outside of Ottawa that's actually called Lanark County. So it's not actually closed. So this was a new gym I was just trying out. I already trained out in that area, but this was just a new one. They have tons of good Arsenal pieces, elite FTS pieces. It's a really good gym. It's just like two guys with younger guys that obviously love training and want to make a nice kind of facility and. They have some really, really good pieces in there, like the good Arsenal, vertical leg presses, the pit sharks, all the good rows, they got tons of nice stuff there, some heavy dumbbells. So it's been a nice change of pace. So yeah, yesterday had some deads in the program. So threw it on the new machine there and, tried it out, but yeah, I really liked it. So it's good. But no, prep's good. Yeah.
When you prep, it seems like you're not prepping. You're the one guy, like, it doesn't seem like your off season seems the same as your prep. Like your demeanor doesn't change.
I am actually in a way better demeanor during prep than the off season, considerably.
Why is that? Why are you able to be different than us that way?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's not always been this way. It's as I've got bigger, the amount of food I need to eat, I never really feel like I'm like until it's really, really close. I never feel like I'm in that really like kind of shitty down slump. And I just feel like my mental clarity is better. When you're eating so much food, like for me, that's really, really taxing for me. So my energy levels are shit. I'm sluggish. Like. It's like I eat and sleep all day, but it's just like it's a very monotonous process where, when the food's a little lower, I feel like my energy's way higher. I get more things done. Like I'm just way more productive. My mental clarity's better. So I honestly enjoyed a lot more.
I think everybody can relate to that part. I think all of us, when we're dieting, get more productive.
Yeah. But I'm also, I'm not a foodie to begin with. So like, I'm not someone that like, when I feel a little bit of hunger, I'm like, oh, I want food or, it's just like, it's not really something that really crosses my mind too much. So.
Ben, you don't get more productive when you're dieting? I'm not talking about the last 4 weeks. I'm talking about like from week 10 to like week 4.
No, week 10 I start slowing down. I start like hitting.
Really?
Yeah.
It's fucked already.
I'm fucking dead.
I'm usually really like my productivity, like even, I don't know, some people probably know from this year when I prepped this last time, I started putting out a shitload of videos and it was all in that time period from like 8 weeks to 4 weeks. I just felt really, really good. And I didn't start feeling shitty until, but I don't necessarily mean the physical productivity. I mean more like your mental state. It doesn't seem to like.
It's very strong.
Yeah, like me and James would be like, I'm dieting, it sucks, or we'd be up at 4 a.m, not able to sleep.
No, yeah, I sleep better. Everything. Like, I mean, I sleep better. My sex drive's better. Like, I feel awesome during prep. Like, even right up to even New York, like right up till, I mean, like a day out, like I was still like horny and full of energy. And,
I don't remember what sex feels like.
I swear Melissa and I had sex the day before I got the day that I started doing tanning. So like Thursday,
I thought you were going to say we just had sex now. I thought you were
not yet, but later. Yeah.
Fouad, it's like, the feeling that your mouth has when you eat pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
that's
that on your dick.
Oh, okay.
Like that on your dick.
Okay. I remember now. Okay. No, dude, listen, I'm telling you, because we talked about this on the last podcast. The fucking anti-estrogens are the culprit of all the shit.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it because, in previous preps, I would always start a little bit of anti-estrogen at like 10 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then I'd ramp it up kind of really slowly until the end of the prep. And this time, I didn't put any anti-estrogens in until like right at, I think, 5 or 6 weeks. And a week after I started my anti-estrogens, everything fucking went downhill.
Yeah.
My sex drive, my energy, like my sleep got worse. Everything got fucked up.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as some Arimidex hits the fucking man, you start to really lose the soul.
I never had that like this bad this time. I mean, in terms of anti-estrogens, the most I ever went before any shows this year was 25 milligrams of Aromacin. I didn't do any Letro or I didn't do Ribodex or Novodex or anything.
Aromacin seems to not hit the same, does it?
No.
The Aromacin I find doesn't hit me quite the same. Like the Ribodex and Letro like really puts me down, but the Aromacin, like I was dry, so we just kept it like that, and I felt good. I mean, I really had no issues. So from a mood perspective, this year has probably been, one of the better ones. I think I'm also in a good mindset since New York because I can feel that I'm improving every day. I'm enjoying training. I'm in a really good headspace as well. So I think, even those small bits of like prep monotony, I kind of push past because I am really enjoying myself. Overall I feel great. Yeah.
Could I just want to touch on something real quick because people have been messaging me about it. They see me training and they're like, I thought you were sick. Why are you training? And I'm not sick. How can I put this? To be completely blunt, it's just my potassium levels were at a scary level because my kidneys weren't filtering my potassium. So I've changed my diet and I've changed obviously I'm going off all the gear, but that was the main thing. And me and Ben had talked about it, and Ben knows this because Luke went through this. When your potassium level gets over 7, it's basically you're in heart attack zone.
Hyperkalemia. Yeah.
It's like you're at risk of a heart attack at kind of any moment is what I was told anyways.
Yeah.
And so instead of just ignoring it and keeping going, I was like, I better rectify this. So that was part of the problem. And then the other part of the problem was the kidney levels were dropping at an alarming rate. So I had to stop that. Now, the doctor I'm talking to hasn't told me to stop training. He's like, change your diet, get off the gear, and start to let your body recover. I'm not training as often. I'm training every other day right now. So that's also giving my body a break.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Sorry to interrupt. For anyone that's listening here too, that might not be like super diligent with their blood work and isn't going to be, is there anything you noticed from like a physical standpoint that maybe be like key things that they could notice that you did feel or notice when your like kidney function, your potassium was a little funky?
No, man. You know what's
like,
crazy?
Were you like having like, crazy nocturia, like pissing like crazy during the night or like anything?
So let me tell you what happened. This is all really fucked up how it all happened. So I'm having this pain in my lower left low back, like my left side of my low back.
Sure.
And I'm like, I couldn't pinpoint what muscle it was. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this is, right? And when I had a gallbladder issue a long time ago, it was kind of behind my scapula, and it was the same kind of pain. I'm like, is it my kidneys? Is that what that pain is? I'm like, and I looked it up, and I'm like, well, your lower back pain can sometimes be kidney.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the fuck, right? So I asked my doctor for blood work sheet because I had been getting them done regularly anyway. So I asked him for another one, and he's like, okay, fine. I think it'd been like 3 or 4 weeks since the last one I had done. And I was sitting in my car one day at the gym, and I had the sheet for like a week, and I went and got it done. I was sitting in my car at the gym. I couldn't get out of my car. I was that fucking dead and depleted. I was sitting in my car, like going like this, like falling asleep, like before my morning cardio. And I'm like, get up, get out of the car and go do fucking cardio. And I would go to get up and I couldn't get up. I was just literally like dead. Like I couldn't get up.
Yeah.
So I call my wife and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. I can't get out of my car, man. I want to go and do my cardio. She's like, you don't sound very good. She's like, why don't we go get that blood work done and start over and see what happens tomorrow. So I go pick her up. I go get the blood work done. And it was all by chance. It wasn't like I wasn't feeling anything. I didn't have any like swelling or edema in my legs or anything.
Yeah.
And then the doctor calls me the next day. He's like, you got to go to the emergency room. He's like, your potassium level is dangerously high and your kidneys aren't filtering the potassium. So I went to the emergency room. They took more blood work and it had been lowered. Like it came down by itself. But I was at this point now I'm looking at my kidney numbers as well. And I'm like, okay, everything's fucking way out of whack.
Yeah.
So I talked to a couple other doctors and one was like, look, man, the hardest part of your prep is the next 2 weeks. Like you're going to have to be in a more depleted state. You're going to have to dehydrate for the show. And then you're going to, you might use a diuretic and you're going to have to rebound.
Yeah.
Use a diuretic.
Yeah. You're only putting more pressure on the kidney.
Not worth it.
So then I kind of decided it was just the final, I think that what it was the scare of the potassium like being so high.
Yeah.
And the kidney number being so low. I'm like, it's just, I'm not taking this fucking chance.
I remember you called me about this, like, right? And I remember we had the conversation. I said, well, because you wanted to show up, right?
Yeah.
You didn't want to just fucking turn up and be a number. And I'm like, well, say you push and do very well and qualify. Well, then what?
Well, that was the big.
You definitely can't do the Olympia because that's another 10, 11 weeks of it.
Yeah, that was the biggest hurdle as well. As I thought, okay, let's say for some miraculous reason I do go and I win, I can't push my body for another 10 weeks.
Not safely.
Like it wouldn't be smart for me to just keep pushing for 10 more weeks. And I'm like, well, if I'm not going to do the Olympia, what the fuck am I doing then? You know what I mean? And then I'm like, and if I'm not going to look my best, what am I doing? Just hobbling into another show? Like I hobbled into the 2017 Arnold. I don't want to hobble into this one.
Yeah.
So after putting all these things together, I was like, okay. So anyway, the whole reason I brought it up is just, if people see me training, I'm not dying. Like I can still train. I can still lift weights. I have to get off the gear. I had to change my diet. I'm only eating like 30 grams of protein per meal at the moment. So like a lot of things have changed. I've reduced like no potassium food or very low potassium food, stuff like that. So anyway, I just want to kind of give people like a little bit of an update there so they're not confused as to what's going on.
That's a good update. It's a good update. It makes sense. Totally makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, so what's going on, guys? We got the Chicago Pro tomorrow, the last Olympia qualifier.
Big lineup.
Yeah, big show. Big show.
Are we going to do a top 6 and get it fucking wrong again?
We didn't get it. No, wait a minute though. In our defense,
the first one, I'm talking about was it New York or Temple?
California, we butchered.
Oh, we butchered that.
Did we do anything wrong? We got the top 4 completely right with James's show.
Well, yeah, because Rami was out and everybody else was exactly where we
had James as second and then everything else down. So we were 100% right.
Yeah,
okay, that one. But we fucked.
You know what? I was too scared to watch your review just in case you didn't have me in first. I'm not going to watch it. I don't want to get jinxed. I was like, I'm not going to.
We had you first. We had a debate about Rami because we had the whole 70%.
Well, tell them the truth. Ian said if 40% Rami could beat you.
Whoa. Don't twist my fucking words here. I don't want James to hate me.
I'm just joking.
Maybe we'll watch that fucking episode.
No, we did well. We did well the last time. Let's take a look at Chicago. It's exciting. I'm actually really excited for this show, man.
It's a big line, man. Like,
can I say something? I think the
shows this year have been good.
I was just going to say COVID has really fucked everything up, but when the shows do go on, they're really exciting.
They've been awesome shows this year. Yeah.
All right.
And I do kind of like the three.
We can just repeat again. This is okay.
Okay, we'll just
watch this. I get a little scared of that little post at the back's going to disappear up your ass. Look.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, where's that going? Like, don't fall backwards.
You don't know me. Maybe I like that.
Yeah. That's good, man. Yeah, I could. That's fucking strong.
All right, we'll pull up the sheet here.
All right. So, okay. Let's start with the big names. The biggest name in the lineup we have is probably Justin Rodriguez, I would say, is the favorite.
I would agree.
Yeah. So where is Justin here? Is he even on the sheet?
Yeah. Number 3.
There he is. Okay. Right there.
So Justin Rodriguez is. Do we all agree he would be first? Is he a favorite?
Oh, I don't know.
I think so.
Akim's in there.
Yeah.
Akim's in there. Yeah.
I think Justin's pushing for first.
I think Justin is the front runner. And if we pull up Justin's picture, I mean, he looks ridiculous.
He's on.
Yeah. Like, I'm happy this version of Justin didn't show up in New York because I probably wouldn't have won the show.
Look, Akim did.
Who's that guy? Look at that. Oh, that guy.
That's a handsome man. That was a good picture, that one.
Is it just me, or does your beard get higher up your cheek every single time I see you?
I've been letting Luke always wanted me to grow it up to like my eyeball, so I've just been letting it go.
I swear, it's like I look at mine, I'm like, this is where mine is, and yours is all the way up here.
Yeah, because I think it looks better. Because
it does look good. Yeah.
Luke used to say to me,
the more of your face you're covering up, the better you look. Yes.
No, you know those medieval masks.
Yeah.
He's like, you should grow it like that, and I'm like, all right. So I'm trying it out. Anyway,
it does look good.
Maybe I'll let mine grows. You can see where mine goes to. This is where mine will go to.
Let it go.
That's where my stubble is. I'll let it go. We'll see what it looks like.
Let it go. All right. So this is Justin.
Yeah, he's on the money.
Did you say no, babe? Melissa's in the back like, no.
That's exceptional. Look.
Can I ask you guys something though? And this is not a knock at all. Does his skin look a little thick to you?
I mean, it's hard. This is a post-workout shot. You're all pumped up, full of water.
But even this one, right? Like his skin.
But go back. He posted. Go to his tag shots.
It's not morning shots. So it's different.
Go to his tag shots. There's a big back shot. No, there's a back one that they put just yesterday or something. That I saw.
The reason I'm saying what I'm saying is because Nick's skin looks like fucking onion skin.
Yes.
Right? Like this skin looks thick compared to Nick's skin.
I think it's because they're both workout. I think it's like Ian said.
What's that?
I think it's the post-workout look. It's like there's fluid under the skin from training.
There was a picture I saw. Let me find it.
Listen, I can't agree with you guys, or else the show would be really boring. So, okay, so we have Justin, and then we have Nick. I want to go to Nick's because he's crazy fucking impressive right now, man.
Okay, here, look at the skin texture in this though. Like,
well, I can't see. Where is that? I just pulled that picture up.
No, this is different. This is in the gym. Go to AJ Sims' page.
Okay.
And this is October 1st. So this is 14 days ago he's this dry, man.
Let's see what AJ's got.
It's down there with the side chest. Second picture. Go to the second picture. Like, that's dry, man. And that's 14 days ago.
I don't see the depth of striations.
Oh, I agree with you there. But, like, when you're pumped up, like, to shit, the striations aren't the same. But, yeah. I agree. I agree with you there. Yeah.
Because when I look at Nick, it's like everything's so fucking deep. Like,
yes.
Like, look at this. Look, his skin looks like it's not there.
Yeah. No, I agree. He's got the look like me or James with that like super thin, dry white guy skin for sure.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I really feel like Nick's gonna fucking shock some people.
Oh, he will. He will.
And then you have Akeem too. I mean,
that's what I was going to say. Akeem.
The thing with Akeem though is like when you have guys like Justin, Nick that are going to be so dry. When Akeem's not like always super dry in the upper back, it's going to be a detriment to him. I think in this lineup.
If his back is at all even remotely close to his front like this,
but it never is. But if so, yes,
he's going to win. Because
he placed higher than Luke in Indy last year, and the night before the show, we went to the athlete meeting, and he was he was like
waterlogged,
And the next day, he walked out, and Luke and I both said, "What the fuck did he do?" Him and Kuklo. We want to know what they did overnight because they dried out like an incredible amount.
What's his name? Akeem works with Oscar, and I think Oscar still does things like the old school way.
Yeah.
Where he like overloads you like hard, and then he cuts you with
I mean, Akeem at the athlete meeting looked like he was 10 weeks out.
Yeah, they cut hard the night before.
And then he pulled a ton of water off, and his leg from the side was on stage was just like fucking bone dry.
Akim's so full and round that when you pulled the water out of him, even if he was to lose a little bit intracellular,
he's got it to spare. Yeah, he's got that luxury to get away with it. And
okay,
you can't do that.
Okay, well let's narrow this. Let's narrow it down for a second. Are we saying this is the top three? Like Nick?
I think that's top three. Right now.
Nick, Max Charles too.
I got Max Charles here. Yeah.
I think Max is not quite big enough to hang with those three.
I think the same thing.
I can agree with you there.
I think Max is going to end up in fourth out of these guys.
Yeah. I think they're going to have three freaks.
Okay, so wait a minute. Let's go back to this. So we got Eddie, Max. I don't know who these guys are. Phil Clahar is going to look good, but probably not good enough, like shape-wise.
Johnny O.
Stephen Frazier. Johnny Jackson might be a little light in the legs. This guy's new. Kyle Curvey. I don't think he's going to be big enough.
On's good.
On's my fucking favorite.
Okay, let me ask. Okay.
Never hard enough. He's never hard enough.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you guys that. Does On beat Max?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, but I'm saying
On didn't beat Max and Cali, and I think Max will be the same. And I don't think it'll be a big.
I think Max will be too sharp for On.
Max is going to lead the second call out.
No, I think they'll do a 6 or 7 man first call out, and he'll be at the outside.
Okay, yeah. So from four, I think Max is going to be the fourth guy basically. So
yeah, I think On will be center first call out.
Well, let's just forget that. Let's just answer that question. Can On beat Max?
No.
Yes, no. I'm going against you. I'm going against the grain. Yes, because I just love On's shape, and I can't let it go.
Sir, let me answer that question. Can he beat Max? Yes.
No.
Will he beat Max? In my opinion.
Will he beat Max?
I agree with Ian. He can, and if he was dry, he would, but he won't be. So he won't.
Exactly.
Okay. We're okay. Stop. We have to.
Breathe.
We're not playing the hypotheticals. Will On beat Max at this show?
No.
Okay. So right now we have On. The general consensus is a 3-1. We're going to say On is in 5th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we have,
But if I'm placed above Max, I look like a fucking genius.
You will.
Yes, well, wait a minute though. I actually also agree with you guys. Like if he's dead on in shape, he can beat Max.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I've yet to see it yet from him.
Yeah, he's prettier. He's more complete, but his condition's not quite there.
Eric Ramirez, I'm not sure. Oh,
No.
who's Eric Ramirez?
Yeah, you would know who he is if you saw him, but he's not a contender. No,
Justin Rodriguez, Joe Seaman. We didn't call. Okay, there's one. Is Joe Seaman in the top 5?
He could be. Yeah, maybe he could be 5th.
He could be. Yeah.
I reckon he could place higher than Max.
Wait a minute. So are we saying is he? Let's go with On Win first. Is he better than On Win?
He didn't beat
beat
but
On.
I think he can beat On. Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
James,
He's just
you're saying he can beat On?
Yes.
Ian, you're saying he can beat On?
Yeah.
Ben?
Mm-hmm.
I think I would agree with that.
But the Asian in me is loyal to On.
Going on here. That's what this is.
I'm just loyal to On because he's Asian. I'm like, I can't badmouth him. He's my boy.
You know what shocks me about Joe is I remember going on about him before the California, and I feel like, is it his shape that they don't like? Because he was in condition and he's got a ton of muscle.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it might just be a little bit. His structure's a bit wide.
Okay, so what
in the front shots? Yeah.
So then, what I'm asking you guys is On going to be in good enough shape, condition-wise, that his structure will beat Joe Seaman?
On structures like fucking.
No, I know, but it's going to be this. It's going to be Joe Seaman's going to be way more shredded.
Yeah, how I see it.
How On's going to be in better shape, like condition-wise. Structure-wise.
How I see is when you look at the rest of the guys in that top group, when you look at guys like Justin, you have Akeem, you have Max, you have these guys that are big and they're hard and they're not necessarily like the prettiest shape. I think Joe fits in that group better than On does.
That's a good point.
I agree.
That's a good point. Yeah. Okay, so we're putting Joe in 5th, On in 6th.
Mohammed Shaban looks really, really good though.
I thought you. Are you being serious?
Yeah. Have you seen his recent pictures? He looks awesome.
No, I haven't. Let me.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is. I don't think I know who he is.
He's that guy that won that show a long time ago that shouldn't have won.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do a preview show, maybe. You should
I know. Yeah.
What,
He does look
what did you say, Ben?
If you're gonna do a preview show, maybe you should do your fucking research.
Hey, this isn't a fucking news channel. You want to see?
No, that's not him. That's not him.
If you want a news channel, go to fucking Nick's Power and Nick's Strength and Power. This is me fucking around. You want to watch
SAAA, 2 A's. Yeah, there.
If you want to watch me fuck around, then you can stay at this.
He does look good. I saw a picture of him today, actually.
He's so complete. There's nothing wrong with his physique right now. He's very complete.
Yeah, that's nice. I don't think he's gonna be big enough though.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's nice, but it's not. It's nice, but it's not like impressive. That makes sense.
I don't think he beats Joe Seaman.
Yeah, that's close. The thing with him is he's like one of those kind of guys that he's just has absolutely no weaknesses really. So if someone's a little off, he sneaks up. You know?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
And that's what happened, I think, that year in Portugal. Is like, you know, where I wasn't at 100%, maybe Lucas wasn't, so he kind of was like, "Ooh, here, I'll sneak in." You know?
Yeah. He is good. He's certainly very good.
Oh, he's beating you, Ian.
Yeah, he won Portugal here.
Okay.
There was one year he won a show and nobody could figure out how he won.
Yeah, see, like this shot, he looks really nice and dry here. This is a different one.
Yeah.
I got it right here.
That's not quite the same one. This one's a little later.
There's a slightly newer one that Ian. Yeah, I've seen that one, Ian.
It's in his tag. It's in his tag photos.
Oh, there's him on stage. Yeah, looks good on stage.
That's Spain. I won that show. That's in Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did Spain with us, James.
Did he do Spain?
Yeah, he was like 5th.
Okay.
Okay. So where do we have him? Do we have him ahead of Joe or behind Joe?
Behind Joe at the minute, I think.
I think behind Joe for now. Yeah.
Ahead of On Win or behind On Win?
Ahead of On.
So we have
ahead of one behind Joe.
So we have Mo in 6th then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have Sean Smith. Sean Smith is a dark.
He's looking
horse.
dry. Looking dry.
And he got a freaky back on him.
A lot of people have been messaging me about him and how.
I don't know if I'll catch flack for this or something. Maybe Sean will hate me, but the thing with Sean is the ultimate gym bodybuilder. You know, like Sean in pictures, you're like, this guy is the freakiest motherfucker in the world. But on stage, it never quite looks as the same as it does in pictures. And not like it doesn't look less impressive in person. Just when he poses and on stage, when you put him in a lineup, it doesn't quite like pop out the same. You know?
Is there any poses? Is there any shots of him posing, or is it all just in a tank top or sleeveless?
Well, I mean, there's one with a shirt off there below that, but
I mean, it's impressive, but it's hard to gauge what this is going to look like under the lights.
yeah. See, I mean, he did Tampa last year. You could probably find pictures of Tampa last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was backstage with you guys, and on stage he just doesn't really.
How many weeks out is this?
When was it taken? 5 weeks ago, so he would have been 6 weeks out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be tough. I need to see him on stage next to people. I can't really tell if he's short or tall. Like, it looks weird. Like
he's pretty short. He's pretty short.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a fuckload of muscle, right? But that doesn't always translate.
It's true.
Yeah.
But go to his tagged photos. And then go third row down left side. Yeah, there's stage.
Ian loves the tagged photos, doesn't he? Christ.
Yeah, I see some weaknesses like there, but
that's not a good look, though. I think he's better than that now.
I agree he'll be better than that, but that's just showing kind of what he is on stage versus in the gym.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's play this game. Assuming he looks like this or a little bit better, where does he land?
Not in the top 6.
I don't think so either.
9th.
I put him 8 to 10th, yeah.
He's got to be a lot better than this, I think, to crack the top 6.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's not going to be more muscular than some of these guys in the top group, and he's also not as nice shaped or as peeled. So it's like, it's where do you see that he has something that other guys don't? I don't really see anything that puts him ahead of some of those guys, you know?
Yeah. He's definitely got a different shape to his muscle.
Yeah, he's got a freakiness to him for sure. Yeah. I mean, like day to day, would I love to look like that for sure, but on stage, it's not quite the same, you know?
Huh. Well, a lot of people are talking about him. I mean,
deservedly, he looks crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so
he's strong as an ox too.
Oh, very, very.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here's a video of him squatting 5 plates.
6 plates.
No, it's 5. Is it 6? Yeah, it's 6. I think
585. 6 plates.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good squat.
He pumps those out. Yeah.
What do you think, Ben? Is that a good squat?
His knees are wrapped. Doesn't count.
Come on. What the fuck are you talking about? I wrap my fucking knees.
You can see he's collapsing.
Yeah, I know.
Look at his ankle roll. Like when he comes down, he's going into his inside foot pretty hard. But I mean, it's a decent squat for the weight.
That's so nitpicky. Come on.
I mean, shit.
I mean, it's cute. Don't be wrong, but
his knees will feel that. That's for sure.
It's cute. It's cute.
Shit. That's strong. Yeah.
Oh, okay, James. Can you please? Is that a good squat or not?
It's not my squat, but it's all right.
James buried 7 plates like 4 weeks out.
I
for
didn't
10
say.
reps.
Wait a minute. I didn't say it was heavy. I didn't say it was heavy.
It's 600 pounds.
I didn't say it was heavier than what James could squat. I just said, is it?
I didn't say it was bad. I said it was cute.
If you're putting 6 plates on your back, you're not a joke.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
I'm just I'm messing around. But right now, I couldn't hang with that. Right, so I'm not gonna start sitting here.
Let me ask you guys this, totally off topic. Do you think it's a big mistake for me to do JP's training? Because I think I already tweaked my chest doing it.
Oh, hang on. I will quote you from last week.
I know what you're going to say.
So you don't care. You said I've had to every
well, you know what?
I watched this guy squat this set 300 times. Can you close this?
Okay, I'm sorry. So
put Ian's deadlift back on.
Yeah.
Wait, no, he's pressing there. What's he pressing? Go up, and left. Up, left. Up one more. Up one more.
No, hang on. You and James are the strongest pressers ever, and you're
5 plates on a high incline.
That's 5 plates on incline is impressive. I don't give a fuck who you are.
No, it's on a Smith.
Oh,
Ian does this on a.
That's a half. That's a half rep.
Yeah.
That's a half rep.
Ian's incline. That's unfair. Ian's just bullying now because Ian's incline barbell press is insane.
Yeah.
Ian, stop bullying everybody. This is a one-arm. Look at one-arm anvil row. Here we go. Look, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
That's fucking impressive.
That's like what? 5 plates, 6 plates? Yeah, 6 plates.
That'd hurt me.
Yeah.
Everybody saw.
I'm gonna get
what I mean. Like my point here is like everything's going to be so. You're growing. Something's got to grow off that, right?
Okay, so wait, can we go back, please? Because I need some help here. So is JP's situation not a good idea for me? Ben, what do you think?
I think
I loved. By the way, I did it a few times before I actually tweaked and I just tweaked it. I didn't like do anything serious, but
What did you tweak it doing?
this is the thing. I started with incline bench because I know JP said he does the same exercises every week.
Yeah,
until he can't get any stronger at them, right?
So
but he also looks for progression in execution as well, right?
I know.
Not just absolute load. Because so since your podcast with him, I've had a bunch of questions asking me what's my opinion on JP's training. And there is this misconception that he's all about weight.
No. But can I say something before you go on? In the podcast, people aren't listening because in the podcast.
That's what I mean. They're not listening.
No, he made perfectly clear that his form and execution was identical every single time.
I know, but what I'm saying is, and I know he said that. What I'm saying is people are hearing it, but they're not listening to it because they're still obsessed with I have to just get as strong as possible. Yeah, and they're like, so because I've had a couple of questions relating to the podcast and Jordan's opinion, and people are missing that he looks for progression in multiple different ways.
Yeah.
Right, it's not just load.
Yeah,
it's not just load. Yeah.
So when I was doing it, listen, I'm not worried about getting super, super strong because I'm only going to do like 6 or 8 rep maxes. I'm not going to do doubles and singles and shit. So the thing is, I don't think I warmed up enough. I only had about 3 or 4 sets before it started to get a little heavier. And then I tweaked my chest on an incline press. But my point is it something that you think is better or worse for somebody that maybe is older or prone to injury? Because I feel like there's 2 schools of thought to it, right? Like one is like less wear and tear during the workout. But the negative part is you're also trying to go heavier every week.
It's the risk reward, right? There's a higher risk, but there's a higher reward.
It's a tough one because even for me, I was doing Jordan's training, wasn't I? Because he coached me.
Yeah.
And I loved it, but I feel like for me personally, just that little bit more volume, not quite as much as Guy because he's nuts.
Yeah. Guy was crazy. Yeah.
But like down the middle somewhere seems to just be about right for me.
I think I was down the middle before I talked to JP, but I
like a modified DCs.
I'm like a modified JP because like JP's feeder sets are like 2 or 3 or 4 reps max. And
we do that. Ian, we do that, don't we? We same thing. Just a little bit more in the total workload over the session would probably be a little bit more voluminous.
Yeah. But I did it his way, one leg workout, and it was fucking awesome. And I actually was stronger on all my lifts.
Oh, certainly.
But then I'm
the big sets of squats I've done before, that setup where you don't burn out prior to the big set.
It's all about priming. It's all about priming for that big set, and that's all Luke and I used. So Luke and I trained a very similar way. We did a little modified. I think the way Luke and I trained, or James, you'll attest to this because
I did a bit of it as well.
Yeah. When those 6 months you guys trained together, it was very similar to what I was doing with him, and it's somewhere in between, right? It's not because you have maybe 2-3 lifts that you prioritize, but then you're still doing the conventional bodybuilding stuff towards the latter end of the session.
Yeah.
I like that balance between the two.
Could I ask you guys if you think this would make sense? What if you did a traditional bodybuilding pyramid for like your first exercise, then kind of did JP's shit for like the middle 2 exercises, and then finished with a traditional bodybuilding pyramid?
That's what we did.
That's what you're saying, right? Right, Ben?
Yeah. So we do. That's why, like our first exercise, say for a chest, is a cable fly, and we do like
more volume.
For 3 or 4 sets of 12 to 15 to get some blood in, then move it around. Then we go from that into an incline barbell and a dumbbell.
See, I would do the same thing, but I would probably start with a machine press next time because I feel like the machine press gets me going.
But your focus on that first one is about contraction and blood flow. Like you're volume, trying to and you're putting it and warming up the joints, and so you're not going straight in hell for leather off the bat.
I think that could work for me because I think the reason I tweaked my chest is because I went right to the incline bench, and I tried to go. It was like 3 or 4 sets, and I was already up at 3 plates, and it's not. I need to warm up more.
No, our first like heavy compounds about 30 and 40 minutes in.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think I'm going to do a fusion where it's like the first exercise is volume. Then like a JP style for the middle 2.
Yeah, like then if you have 5 exercises, the first one is like that pump one. The last 2 are conventional bodybuilding, and those second and third movements are your big. they're your bread and butter movements, right?
Okay, makes sense. Okay, thank you. All right, so going back to the show. So okay, so here's the list we have so far. We have. Do we all agree Justin's going to win?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
I'm going to go against you guys.
He's ready for a victory. He's ready for a victory.
Oh, you're going Nick, aren't you? You're going Nick.
I'm going to go Akeem.
I think it's between Akeem and Justin. I would agree there.
I'm gonna say Akeem has figured out his conditioning and he's going to win this show.
Yeah, okay, I can see. I go
because I look at this and I'm like, that's fucking dry, man. Like,
so you're saying top 3 would be Akeem, Justin, Nick.
That I don't even know. I don't know because Nick is fucking impressing me too, man. I don't know. I might have.
Imagine if Nick won. That's insane.
This is the thing. I definitely don't think. Listen, I think Nick is incredible, but I don't think he can beat Akeem if Akeem is in condition.
Well,
they're both extremely muscular.
Well, yeah, Nick's strength is his density, and Akeem has density.
More of it. Yeah. What do you guys think, James? Do you think Nick can beat Akeem if Akeem is in shape from front to back?
Yeah, if he's not in shape, because Nick's hard from front and back.
But I mean, looking at this photo, if you think if Akeem is as hard on the back,
if Akeem is as good as he was at the Arnold, then he's winning the show. Yeah.
Okay.
Because Akeem really impressed me at the Arnold.
Do you think in that case, if they pick Akeem to win, would it only make sense that they pick Nick in second, or would they still go back to Justin?
I still think Justin, because it doesn't really matter. I think either, because they're both fucking great, and I think none of them are small. I don't think there's a trend there. I think all 3 of them can be considered big.
I think Justin looks bigger on stage than he does off stage, whereas I think Nick looks bigger off stage.
If you haven't seen Justin in person, when I saw him at Chicago or at New York, and most can attest to this, he was significantally bigger than I had seen him, and I've competed against him a number of times.
Right, but what I mean is more. I mean like pictures like on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, yes.
I think he translates much. I think he projects more on the stage than his pictures do. Whereas I think Nick might be slightly the other way around. I think his pictures, he's still a big dude, don't get me wrong, but I think his Instagram pictures look really freaky, and on stage he looks great. But I'm not sure.
Let me ask you this question, Fouad. Aside from just that little bit of extra thin skin gnarliness, what do you think Nick beats Justin on?
I think overall muscularity.
That's a stupid picture, by the way.
I think overall muscularity and conditioning. I think the only thing Justin beats Nick on is his shape. If his stomach is not in control like it was in New York, like if he's not having a hard time controlling it, Nick will beat him.
You know what? That's why this show is a fantastic show, because literally if any of them are off by 5%, it can be anyone's.
Yeah.
Look at this picture here. Do you think this is better? You think this is better or worse than Justin?
It's on par. It's on par. They're on par.
Yeah, I think that's on par, but this is, I think, then from the back or side or in a front lat or front double, I think that Justin is much better.
Justin's front double is very nice. When he wastes him out,
I don't know, guys. I honestly think Nick is going to shock some fucking
saying shock is the wrong word, because I think we all think Nick is insane. I mean, to be in the talks in this.
No. But when I say shock, I mean like Justin is a seasoned vet. Well, I wouldn't say a seasoned vet, but he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
And it is a shock to see a guy just get his pro card 6 weeks ago and then come in and beat somebody who's been around for a while.
For sure.
So
yeah.
Doesn't that make you've not had that since Heath, really?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is I think Nick is gonna.
But I think Justin's back double does a number on that one.
I don't know, man.
I do.
I do like Nick's arms from the back. They're super neat.
Well, Ian, I'll agree with you in the back itself.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at the overall picture of the back, I don't know, because Nick's got crazy glute
arms.
And the arms and the shoulders. It's like,
yeah, he's lacking in the lat though on that shot.
Yeah, his lats aren't as thick and dense as Justin's, but the overall picture is like,
yeah,
it's fucking. I don't know, man. It's like it's hard.
But also, we haven't seen Nick stand next to a top elite pro on stage.
This is the part that scares me here. Justin,
yeah, look, I really like Nick, and I love Matt, and I love all these guys. Maybe I'll catch flack for this. What I see Nick as is a slightly better version of Joe Seaman.
Yeah.
I think he's different.
I think they've got a similar structure. I think it's. I can.
Which is going to be the limiting factor. Tons of muscle, great conditioning. That's right. It's a guy that their focus is going to be conditioning, but like that side chest, even for a muscular guy, is not an insane side chest to me. Most muscular is crazy. I'll give him that for sure. He's got some good shots, but his front lat is weak. His front double's not insane. His side chest and stuff are good. His back double's not bad.
That's not bad, dude. But
the problem is
that's a really impressive back double.
I mean, it's better than mine. I'm not arguing that it's better to back double than mine for sure. I'm just saying when we're comparing it to Justin's or Matt's, Akeem, these kind of guys, it's a different story, right?
I think when you stand him,
we've got to see.
Yeah, I think you got to stand him next to these guys because we haven't seen Nick ever. He's only done amateur shows. He's only ever stood. But
that's the fun of the show. We get to pretend that we know what's going to happen.
See, like that side try, that's great.
Look at that.
Yeah, that looks crazy. Look at the side of his leg. It's
look
nuts.
at this fucking kid.
But look at his chest is still very flat. I mean, there's the midsection is not insane compared to some guys. I mean, there is still flaws there that I think some other guys will expose.
Okay, so after looking at all these photos, and
I'm just trying to make this interesting. I'm not being.
No. I know, Ian. I know. That's the whole point of the show.
After all of that, though, I still have him in the top 3.
Well, yeah. No, but we're trying to decide if he can beat Justin.
I don't think he can. I think Justin will edge him.
Do you know what's going to really show? What's going to show this weekend is who's been practicing their presentation.
Yeah.
And that was something with this show I just done. I've been posing since 12 weeks out, and there's guys there that genetically are better than me, and I don't think were as practiced on their posing.
Yeah. Maybe I'm stuck on the story. Maybe the story is like very inspiring to me. That's all.
I think it is.
Maybe I'm feeling a little emotional.
I told you we had this discussion. Your estrogen's a little.
I just think it would be, you know what, man? It'd be really cool in bodybuilding.
I mean, I would love to see Nick win. I mean, if Nick could win, that would be an awesome story. I'd love to have him at the Olympia. I mean, there's no doubt that would be a crazy storyline. Can
I just say something? Isn't it weird how many Caucasian bodybuilders are doing well this year?
Yeah, right. All of a sudden, all the fucking white.
It's because none of the Middle Easterns can get over to the shows though. They're all fucking stuck in quarantine. All the shows are in America and Europe.
The other day. I was thinking Hunter, Ian.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I was just thinking the last few shows who qualified is Hunter, Ian, Antoine, and me.
Yeah.
Like it's how that's so it's not normal.
Hang on a sec.
How racist of you, James. I didn't even think that.
Speaking of white guys, does anyone know what the deal with Kucklow is right now? He's not competing this year, right?
Oh my God, I'm glad you brought that up, Ian. So me and Ben had I don't know if he's
qualified. He's already qualified, I think.
No, he's not.
No, he done
is he on the list? I thought he was on the list.
He's not on points.
He was on points, but he's pushed way down now.
Yeah.
Ah, right. Okay.
So regardless of that, just for fun.
Oh, well, I'll bet is off then.
Yeah, I know I had a bet with these two guys yesterday because they both think Hunter can beat Kuklov, and I don't think Hunter can beat Kuklov.
No.
So,
but we said you can beat Hunter and Kuklov.
But don't bring. Okay, can we just do one at a time? Why do you got to bring Ian into it?
Because I want to get everyone. Let's talk about me.
Did you see Ian's deadlift? Did you see his deadlift?
Tell me more. Pull my deadlift.
Let's pull the deadlift again. Let's see.
Show everyone my deadlift. Did we not see it? We didn't.
I see where this conversation. I see where Fouad's taking this conversation now.
Where am I taking it?
He's just shit stirring. Fouad's just turning this literally into an entertainment show. He doesn't give a shit.
It's
not about facts.
We didn't watch this yet, right? Okay, here, let's watch this. We didn't see this yet, right?
All right.
Wow.
Just play it on a loop.
That beats Steve Kucklow right there.
Okay, seriously though. So we have two for two then. So two of you guys, so Ben and James think Hunter can beat Kuklov, and me and Ian think Kuklov can.
Well, he will now. Hunter is going to place higher at the Olympia.
Well,
so I want my money.
Hunter will place higher at the Olympia. Yeah.
You guys don't win by default. I'm not giving you no fucking money.
By the way, talking about Olympia and what Ian said about Nick, we've got him going to the Olympia in the top 3.
Why? Top three don't qualify at this show.
Oh, they don't?
No, just the winner.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, my mistake.
Hey,
I
wait,
thought this
so
one.
Fouad, you think that that Kuklo beats
Hunter.
Hunter?
Yeah. At this
Dave?
point.
You're the tiebreak. Who wins, Kuklo or Hunter? She says Kuklo.
Yeah. I think at this point.
That was a bit quick. I think that was just you said.
I think at some
Wait. Let me ask Phoenix.
Yeah. I think at some point Hunter will be better. I think for now, I think Kuklo's still better than Hunter. I don't think Hunter's ready yet to beat him.
He's harder.
Okay,
Comes in with that nice
Thing is, like, until you see Kuklo in person is really fucking big.
Look at the size of this cup, though. Seriously, look at this.
He's flushing those kidneys out.
Cranberry juice.
All right,
Cranberry
so,
juice
Ian,
right there.
Ian, here's a question: who wins, or who places higher? Not wins. Who places higher, James or Hunter?
I think James.
I think
me.
the James I saw in fucking at the Europa, James for sure.
Look, if
I'm not gonna say
I'll be
me,
100% honest, I think the James that showed up at Europa would have beat the Hunter that showed up at Tampa.
Mhm.
But I think both will be better for the Olympia, so it's hard to say. But I think James is on more of a progressive track than Hunter. So if you put them in even now, I think that James will be better by the Olympia. Yes.
So Fouad,
Yes, sir.
who places higher, Ian or James?
Oh,
Me neither. Go on, do it, Ian.
The Ian, honestly, man, it would be. I have to see them next to each other, but the James I saw in Spain is like pretty fucking crazy.
I think it was just the line.
I haven't seen high res pictures actually. 'Cause I've been so busy. I haven't seen the stage. I only saw what Yannicka sent me, which was from the screen, like a screen grab.
My opinion is very biased though, because Branch Warren is one of my favorite bodybuilders to ever get
You
on
just like my
stage.
branch-esque. You just like my branch-esque.
I'm sorry, like I think James.
That was what I said like a week or two ago. Right? I said he's
James
like
resembles Branch Warren a lot,
yeah, I see that.
except he has even a better.
James, bring back the goatee.
It's like better.
Yeah.
It's like a better version of Branch, I think.
Branch was pretty fucking epic, man. Come on, guys. Let's be real.
No. I'm saying when you fulfill your potential, I think you can be Branch-esque but better.
I agree.
You already have that similar look, that grey.
And that
you're Branch, but you're not 5'6" and limited by height and structure.
Yeah.
That's what I meant when I messaged you and said you're a bigger version of Branch. That's what I meant. Like you're like a scaled up version, like that look, the density.
Can I just say something?
You've seen Branch in person, like in clothes. He's not a very big, crazy, imposing guy.
No.
When I see him in clothes, like even when he was in contest shape, I'm like, this is a small dude. You know?
Yeah. Can I say something just so there's no just to clarify? I've always thought Ian was going to be the best Canadian bodybuilder and going to be at the top. I told you this, Ian, and it was going to be at the top of the Olympian numbers at some point. The thing with Ian for me, and I'm going to talk about you like you're not here, but the thing with Ian for me is I always need to see his physique next to somebody.
Yeah.
It's like it's an awesome physique, but it's hard to judge because it doesn't look
Ian
like
has a different look. Ian has a very different look.
It's not a traditional look. It looks different.
No,
so I feel like I have to see it next to the other people. Like when I saw you next to everybody in New York, I'm like, okay, Ian's got it.
Yeah.
But if we were doing the breakdown beforehand, I don't know if I wouldn't be as sure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, your physique shines. You shine when you're with people.
Yeah, because it's more complete overall. Like it, you know what I'm saying?
I think the structure, my width and size shows more when I'm standing next to guys.
Yeah, definitely.
I just like when you turn to the side. That's when I'm like, you broke people out of.
I mean, like there was one picture I had. I wish I still had it, but I don't think I do. Well, you guys keep talking. I'll try and find it.
For me, the impressive thing.
Every physique has its. What's beautiful about bodybuilding is that every physique has a certain look and strength to itself.
But the thing that shocks me about Ian to kiss his ass some more while he's not actually listening is for a big guy when he turns to the side, his waist kind of disappears. And I'm like, wait a second, from the front is like normal. It's not like it, but it disappears.
Yeah.
Side.
I mean, something like this shows like when you have someone like Hassan who is really big, but then you see structure size different of me staying next to Hassan.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
You know.
So you know what? That's a perfect example, Ian. Because like, if you showed me a picture of Hassan and he showed me a picture of you and said, "Who's going to win?"
Bigger and more muscular.
I'd be like, Hassan's going to win. And then, but I put you next to him, and I'm like, there's no fucking comparison.
Yeah.
That's,
But
that's the same with me, not like with Raf.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
The perfect physique to look at.
This is what I'm saying. I think is going to happen between Nick and Justin. I think Nick, when he stood on his own and against other amateurs, looks wacky. I think when you put him next to Akim and you put him next to Justin, now he doesn't look as
I can see that.
crazy huge, you know?
Do you know what the difference is? Let me just say
honestly my
something.
exact opinion.
And I know this is why it works for Ian as well. You're going to see who picks the heavy stuff off the floor.
What do you mean? Like the density of their muscle?
Akim
There's
and
going to
Nick,
be areas of the body that people, the ones that bend over with the barbell or pick up the bar off the floor, there's going to be parts of their body that just have development that you're just not going to see on other guys. And that development in those areas shines when you just turn around and face the rear and everyone sees it. You know, the posterior chain, if the posterior chain is fully developed, that's what sets apart people, I feel.
This is my final assessment is Nick, Justin, sorry, not Nick, Akeem, Justin, Nick.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I got Justin winning now.
I think Justin, Akeem, Nick.
Yeah, same.
I got faith in Akeem for this for some reason. I think he's just gonna this is gonna be his breakout show where he's like,
consistent as fuck, so we should have because he's well due to win.
yeah.
I don't know. Justin with AJ right now is making like leaps and bounds every single day.
Yeah.
I think he'll be very, very, very difficult to beat.
Justin should have done the Cali. I'm putting that one out. I'm putting that one out there.
You think he would have beat Antoine at that show?
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
He should have. 1 week later, he should have just flown to Vegas and done that and got it out of the way. I don't know why they took a break.
Go ahead.
I wonder if he would have beat Antoine because Antoine was a lot better at the Cali.
He was a lot better, but I mean, you're talking about like going from 7th to 2nd, you know? Where Max was 5th in New York, and they were pretty close in.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So he jumped. Yeah.
He didn't have to make the same jump.
Jumping another 3 spots here, which I don't think he quite did. You know.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
And Justin, a lot of people had Justin winning the week before, right? It's like,
yeah. All right, you guys want to do a few questions before we go?
Yeah.
All right.
Free.
I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be back.
You always say to go to failure. Do you do periods in which you reach always technical failure and others in which you don't, or just go to every time to failure?
This is interesting because your podcast with Jordan, because there's failure interpretations, isn't there? There's the beyond.
Well, I like
just failure, like my own failure, and when I just have to put the bar down. I don't like to go beyond.
I liked JP's definition of failure the best of anybody that's ever.
What was his definition? I didn't see that.
It was very simple. He just said, "When I can't do another rep, that's failure."
Yeah, that's how I like it.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah.
And then he's like, if I'm doing like a drop set or a rest pause or forced reps with a partner, he calls that beyond failure.
Yeah, that's what I
so it's easily defined. So I don't preach going to failure on every set for this person that's asking. I go to failure on the last set, maybe the last 2 sets. Before that, I could call it a working set where it's like 80% to failure or 90% to failure, but I'm only going to failure on 1 or 2 sets.
Yeah, I go to failure on all my working sets, like sets that are allocated as working sets. That's my goal.
Same.
Okay, so this is maybe a little bit confusing for people because sometimes I don't know how to explain it. So if I have 4, let's say I have 4 sets of like a flat bench, right?
Yeah.
My first set is a warm up.
Would you count these? Would you write on paper 4 sets then?
I would write 4 sets.
Actually, I don't.
That's where we would write it down. I would write.
I don't mind them.
I would write 2 sets, and that would be my 2 working sets, and then whatever. If I take 1 or 30 warm ups to get to those 2 sets, it's irrelevant. You know.
But just to know, like for clients, if I'm writing them down, I usually write warm up. Like I don't write like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, on my training plans for my clients, I write only work sets are listed. Warm up at your own pace.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I would. Yeah.
So, but what I was trying to get at was just naming the sets. So, the first set would be a warm up set. The second set would be a feeder set. The third set would be a working set, and the fourth set would be a failure set.
Yes, sure. It's the second working set failure.
Well, the last 2 would be working sets for me.
So your failure.
So
wait a minute. So your failure set and your working set are the same.
So I go.
He's doing 2.
Well, I go a working set as my. In your instance, the third set.
What I'm asking,
and then I would have a back off set would be the 4th.
Wait a minute. What I'm asking is, can a set be a working set if it's not to failure?
Yeah.
Because that's what I counted. Like, because sometimes my 80% or 90% set, I count that as a working set. Like if I do 315 for 10, to me, that's a working set.
Yeah, the thing is, if your overall volume in your workout's slightly higher than other people, then there is a merit to still calling certain things working sets. The cumulative stress.
Yes.
Right, but I wouldn't do the 315 for 10. I'd do the 315 for maybe 4 or 5 and then put it down halfway.
I know, but then that
because you want it to be working.
No, but then that goes to different training styles, right? Like if you were doing a JP training style, you would only do 315 for
No, I go traditional DC approach, like warm-ups, feeders.
I know, but what I'm saying is like if I was going to do 315 for 3 or 4, I wouldn't call it a working set. It would just be called a feeder set.
Yeah, it's because you're doing 10 you do. Yeah.
Because I'm doing 10, it's called a working set, but it's not a failure set because I could probably do 15 if I went to failure.
You're leaving some in reserve so that you can do another
for the last
set.
one. Yeah.
Okay,
so
I don't have any of those sets in.
Okay.
I either have a feeder set or I have a
failure set. Okay, that makes sense. What about you, Ian? Are you the same? You have feeder and failure?
Yeah, so I would have like all my sub-maximal sets, as many as it takes. Like say I'm doing incline bench. If I do, 1 plate for a couple, 2 plates, 3 plates, I might do 4 plates for like a single or double. And then I'd say if my 4 1/4 is my first working set, I would do that till absolute failure. And then if I do a back off set or even try and do a second set with that, or, working with Patrick, say I might do my first set as like my maximal load, like heavy set. And then my second set might be a cluster set or a rest pause or something like that.
Where you go beyond failure. Yeah.
It's still beyond failure, but my first working set is to failure. Yes.
Okay. I like that. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing too much volume by doing the working sets.
Yeah.
Instead, I should just do feeder and failure.
I got a lot stronger when I cut out those fluff sets.
Yeah. Well, that's what I noticed when I did, like, I call it JP style, but really it's exactly what you're describing. On my last leg workout, that's exactly what let me show you guys. You know what? Since I can actually show you guys.
I feel like, Fouad, you're the ultimate, like, connoisseur of training styles.
Whoa,
look at that. What are we looking at right here?
This is the
I got 33,000 views on that. Nice.
Can you just have this as the thumbnail of the podcast?
Yeah, from now on, yeah.
Can we just look at my nice 4-year progress there too?
I don't know why I just didn't click the profile.
That was a very good 4-year progress, by the way. I like
Thank you.
So where the fuck did I put it? Here. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So this is what it looks like. So on the pendulum squat, for example, you never replied to me when you said, what's a good number on a pendulum? And I said, oh, you said 225 or something like that. Okay. And then you just ignored me. Yeah, because I got there. I got there. Okay. So these two are warm-ups. I just did them just to get myself. And then these are all feeders, 5, 5, 3, 3, 3. And then this was failure.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is what I call JP training style, but obviously
that's literally it. Yeah.
I mean, it's DC, but yeah.
It's all kind of very similar, yeah.
It's the same intensification.
Same principle. Okay.
Yeah, Dog Crap was what he got his methods from and then just made some modifications.
Yeah, JP started with DC and then he
has modified Dog Crap, yes.
And I feel like Patrick did a similar thing, right? It's some of it's DC principle, like foundation-based stuff, and then it goes into he's taken the cluster sets and the other things, Yeah,
I did it against just got a reply to a message.
I like this training style a lot better, man. It felt really, really good to do this.
Yeah.
I think it's like what you said, Ben. I need to adjust my training so that I don't get hurt. Like I might need to do a volume exercise first and then do this.
Yeah. We'd always, Luke and I would always do that. We'd pick 1 or 2. I think it was legs, we do hamstring curl, leg extension, and adductors as our warm-up sets first, and then we start going either leg press and squatting, hack squatting, whatever. So it's a little bit later, but that's because there's so many joints. You
got everything warmed up and moved around.
Right now, like I separate quads and hamstrings. But my quad day, I do my adductors, abductors, do my quad extensions, then I would leg press, and then I would squat. Yeah,
it's exactly the same. It's almost identical to what we did. Yeah.
I was doing that when I was prepping. It actually felt really good. I would do lying leg curls, leg extensions, and then there's a machine kickback that I was using.
Yeah.
And kind of get everything really warmed up. Just do 10 reps of everything.
Yeah.
And then I would go squat.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes Luke and I would actually take the smaller, I remember we would do rest pauses on the doctors, and sometimes we'd do a couple. Yeah, we'd do a couple of. So we'd still turn them into heavy, hard sets, but You're talking about isolation movements that aren't as
I take
taxing.
my adductors, my abductors, my extensions, even if they're my primary movements, I take them to failure.
Yeah. And you can still take the hack squat and whatever for a ride, because now you're good to go.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem as taxing in the lower body when you're working those isolation movements.
And I've had a lot less knee issues too by having everything good and warmed up and lubricated.
Yeah.
Okay. When you guys are training for a competition in, say, a year's time, you have a high-calorie muscle building off-season followed by your contest prep before a show. How does this differ for, say, when Iain wins New York and only has a short time until the Olympia? Is the goal to maintain, or is there sufficient time to build muscle before prepping with lower calories before the Olympia? So long question short is, what do you do in between shows if you don't have enough time for an off-season?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to obviously differentiate person to person. I mean, what we've particularly done is get the food high enough that it's optimizing my training 100%, that I can still progress within my lifts and be strong and to support the amount of volume that we're progressively increasing, but low enough that I'm not gaining excess body fat. Like I'm still, I mean, if you look at my most recent shots, I could step on stage at Chicago if I really want to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Well, I was going to say, it's what Patrick did with me. Like I'm 12 days post show. I'm only 6 pounds above stage weight.
Yeah.
And my calories on a training day are double.
Yeah. So I'm right now, I'm like 8 to 10 pounds over stage weight. So I'm like low to mid 260s. I'm like, I was 263, 265 this like last week. So I kind of sit in that range, and I'm getting stronger every week. My fullness, we're making sure is optimized, but I'm not trying to accumulate excess body fat. So I can progress within it in the training, but I'm not like pushing the food up and having to lose body fat again.
Do what? I might be a little bit heavier than these boys because that KFC.
So
did you? That what you had? You had KFC.
I had infinite KFC yesterday.
So wait a minute. So I want to finish this question off real quick. So
Sorry.
you guys, no, it's okay. So James, this applies to you too, because you're doing the Olympia. Well, maybe whatever. Assuming you're doing the Olympia. So are you guys going to go into a surplus, or are you just going to try and maintain your calories at like level? You're not going to be in a deficit.
They just go back to what they were, say, a few weeks back, and yes, you basically just kind of reverse your diet to a few weeks prior to the show, but where they're at a point where they're enough to sustain where you're at, but not, like you said, be in a surplus to put on excess.
What we're particularly doing right now is we got the food to a point where I kind of got up to like that 265, 267 range. And like my conditioning was good. And now to come down, instead of decreasing food, all we're doing is increasing training output.
I got it.
So
okay.
Now my training volume is increasing slightly, and that's what is increasing the expenditure. So we're going to the training side. And
for those listening, you can do that because you're already in contest shape.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you don't have body fat to lose, so you can just kind of make.
Like I'm not quite as dry because I'm not on any prep drugs right now. I'm taking like tested.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like it's different when you're coming down. You're trying to burn fat versus just trying to keep fat off.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Do you still water load before a show, then cut water a day out? Do you guys do any water loading? Any of that?
I'll make sure that a certain value is hit.
Yeah.
The loss.
It's
not excessive.
Sufficient, but I'm not like pounding it in like a crazy person.
Yeah, none of this 2 gallon shit. Like,
yeah. No.
This is a good one. I have always kept everything the same as far as my supplements. I think it means gear. Go right before a show, but I have heard some coaches talk about dropping longer acting esters of test before a show, claiming it helps bring that dry, harder look. Thoughts on this concept? So who wants to go first?
Well, with the esters, switching to shorter esters.
Well, let's just talk about this, because I'll start. Like before a show, I get rid of most of my injectables. Like most of my injectables, probably my tests usually gets lowered at 3 weeks out, and usually a week out, I drop all my injectables. Yeah, so that's usually how my shit works.
I tend to just make sure I'm on faster acting things, and that's it, really.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys
I've done it both ways. Like in the past, I've done it where I've cut my test farther out, and working with Patrick, I've kept injectables and test in right till the Wednesday. I mean, it's I've done it both ways. I didn't find it was honestly really addressed. Cutting tests like a week out, if you're taking anti-estrogens, it really doesn't do anything in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you've already crushed estrogen, so.
And for me, the biggest thing I'm not usually someone that has a problem with the dryness conditioning. My issue is with fullness. So pulling drugs is usually more of a detriment than an addition, you know?
Do you leave growth in a little longer than Ian?
Well, this is something we have discussed. So we kept it in a little later we pulled it earlier for Tampa. Obviously it had a negative effect. We kept it in a little later for New York. And then we've discussed now, obviously going for the Olympia, when we looked back at the best looks was when it was still in. And as we started to lose it, you got a minimal addition in dryness for a significant loss in fullness. So for the Olympia, we will keep it in probably till the show. Yeah.
I agree. I've done both too. And I agree with Ian. Like leaving it in is far superior because you only get a little bit drier without it.
If you're like Ian and you struggle to get that full, to fill out, right? If you're someone like Phil Heath, I guess Phil stays round and fucking full.
Yeah, like if you're someone like, say you're someone that has to make a weigh-in for classic, or you're a 212 guy, and is that something that you could probably take out to help make your weight without pushing the calories down or increasing cardio? I'd probably go from that route first, instead of just like pounding T3 or adding in a ton of cardio that's unnecessary that might ruin your look. That's probably where I would go first. But for me, I think it's more of an addition to the fullness and to the look than.
Good. I've got to disappear because I've got to go and do the readiness report.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You said
pleasure, and I will catch you guys very soon.
Yeah. Okay, James. Thanks for
coming. Boys. Enjoy the rest. Thanks, guys.
Okay, man. Bye-bye.
I in terms of when I'm coaching people, I always tend to taper their fat burners in towards the last, because filling out, if you're getting up at around 100, 120 micrograms of clen and your T3's at, I don't know, even 50. I know guys run a lot more than that, but
I never go higher than 50.
No, but if you're going to struggle to start filling out if you really, and once you're a week out, the body fat, that's your body fat, right? Yeah, if you're still trying to get body fat off at 7 days out, you're fucked. You fucked up. So
there's a couple of misconceptions that I think we should touch on, and you guys can tell me if you think they're myths or not, or bad ideas or not. One, I don't think going over 50 micrograms of T3 is a good idea, because you're just going to, I notice anytime I even get to 50,
you're losing.
I lose a fullness look. Like it's a shittier look to my muscle. So I hear guys say they're doing 75 or 100 micrograms. I'm like, you're fucking.
I never go over 25. So
no, sometimes there's a trade-off, right? Sometimes shit happens and you have to implement some extreme measures for periods of time, and that again, that just is it's a fuck up, right?
Yeah,
but I'm
saying like if everything's, if everything's going right though.
Yeah, but as a coach, I think I'd rather have someone in shape and a little less full on stage than out of shape on stage. Do you know what I mean?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
If I'm like, oh fuck, if someone comes to me and we got 4 weeks, right, and I'm like, shit, you're not in shape. I'm doing everything I can to get the body fat off. Maintaining muscle becomes a secondary priority at that state, at that point out if they're behind.
So what we can say then is there's a time and a place for it, but it's not a great idea, and it means you did something wrong. You did something wrong somewhere along the way. Okay.
Yeah, I had to go a little higher with my T3 because I lost that. When my kidneys, it sent me back 2 weeks, and I didn't have another show to extend and aim back. So I had to push some things. I pushed my cardio higher, and my T3 went a little higher than I wanted it. Then I would have taken it to for a 2 week period, and then I tried backing it off. So
okay, so the other misconception I want to touch on was test, and you guys tell me if I'm right or wrong. But there was a period of time where everybody used to switch their testosterone from a long acting to a short. Like usually people at like 4 weeks or 6 weeks out would switch to like propionate. And along the way, I learned that it's actually fucking worse because you might get a little drier with a short acting test, but you're also going to be not as stable. So I learned that just having a long acting test and just lowering that a little bit will actually is a better suited thing for your hormone.
I do it the other way. I do during prep. I do all my shots every single day.
Really?
Yeah, that's the only way.
Starting 16 weeks out, even in the off season, if I'm doing test E, I might just do 0.25 every day. That's just how I do it. I've always done it. Yeah.
Wow.
So during prep, I would shoot, say a mil of prop with 50 milligrams of tren with 50 milligrams of masteron. I would just do it every day.
Okay, wait a second. What like a 25 gauge?
I use 23 gauge 1 inch or 1.5.
Oh, every day?
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
I'm such a pussy. I can't fucking stand that.
I don't mind it at all.
You're like, I don't care. I stick it in my forearm. I don't give a shit.
I think you're right though, and you both are doing the same. You're both doing different methods to achieve the same thing, which is
to keep a stable
blood levels.
This is actually something that's good information that people can as well. For the people that are super duper anti-estrogen people, especially in the off season, by minimizing peaks and valleys, you can actually mitigate the need for anti-estrogen support. Your aromatization levels will be lower. So if you're like someone, you're like, oh, I'm just going to shoot my T400 at 2 cc's once a week, versus if you do, test ethate at 100 milligrams or 150 every
day.
You probably can stay off the anti-estrogens. Your estradiol levels will stay a lot more stable. And for your lipids, for your internal health, that's going to be a lot more beneficial. So that's a way you can get away from the aromatized anti-estrogens, aromatase inhibitors, just by being more consistent with your shots.
All right, let me ask you guys this then. So since we're covering this topic, how do you guys feel about microdose? I mean, obviously you feel the microdosing is a better way for you, Ian, but how do you feel about, the question I want to ask is, how do you feel about subcutaneous injections? Because I hear that's a thing that's becoming more popular now.
I think that's really only a thing for guys doing TRT though. Is it like they're not shooting their like fucking Macron EQ sub Q, are they?
No, man, I'm starting to hear people are doing their shots like sub Q. They use like insulin needles to do their shots.
At the end of the day, it's all getting in there, I guess, essentially. And I think the science is kind of there that it's probably not a drastic difference. I probably wouldn't do it. I guess the theory behind it is that the response is more blunt and in level instead of higher and more spiked.
It's a difference between,
it's going to leach slower, right?
Yeah.
It's the difference that you can, so I've done this with growth hormone. When I time insulin,
it's a little more normal with growth hormone though, right?
No, what I'm saying is, if I'm gonna be trying to intentionally spike someone's IGF-1, you can do it by timing the growth hormone and your insulin at certain times. And if you go intramuscular with the growth hormone, I'm doing it the opposite way around.
Yeah.
So the conventional ways to do growth hormone subcutaneously, right?
I do it intramuscular.
Yeah, well, you can do it intramuscular.
The traditional way is subcutaneous, so yeah.
Yeah, but when you do it intramuscular and then maybe 30 minutes later you're doing insulin, you'll find that the peak blood levels they match, and then that's when you get the spike in IGF-1 naturally, like not naturally, but without taking Increlex, right?
Yeah.
So you mimic and that's why Ian probably does intramuscular GH, and then I'm not saying he does use insulin, but if you use insulin, but 20 minutes later, that'll be why.
Okay, but for GH, that's I think most of us are doing that.
What I'm saying is the timing where the reverse happens.
My question is it true? Like, am I wasting? Yeah, because if I take an insulin needle and I do a shot of fucking test, and it goes into the.
For anyone that's done this, how fucking slow is it shooting oil-based injectables through like a 27 to 30 gears?
Wait a minute. Can we just answer one question? Is it wasting my gear? That's all I want to know.
No.
Wasting it. I just think it's not what the difference. The differential is just.
It's not the optimal way to do it.
Like there's fucking much difference for putting it under your skin.
Well, I mean, like this. Like if that was a way, don't you think that doctors prescribing TRT would just say, "Hey, let's do this subcutaneous because it's going to be less invasive for the average." I think cholesterol they're giving you, and you're shooting it intramuscular.
No, I think that's where it's coming from, though. I think some doctors are starting to do sub-Q TRT shots. Yeah.
No, I was about to say I think bodybuilders know better than doctors too.
What should I ask doctors to check in my blood work? You guys run down the list real quick.
This is a big list here.
Well, I mean, the main ones would be your liver, kidney, cholesterol, blood sugar, A1, like that would be your A1C.
You can do your thyroid panel too.
The thyroid panel, free testosterone. The main ones for me when I'm looking at health are liver, kidney, cholesterol, blood sugar, and my thyroid.
Yes,
what I've learned is urine sample.
Yeah, I always do that.
But doesn't they make you do that when you do kidney?
You need that for some kidney values.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need it, but if you just went for a blood test,
you need it. What?
Unless because when I booked in for the blood test, it asked me, do I want to do a urine? Like, it gave me a kidney test, but There's like a basic blood only kidney test, and then there's a urea sample taken as well. So
yeah, it's not bad. You do like your C-reactive proteins and stuff like that as well. I mean, that's
there's a kidney test that you have to ask for. They won't do it automatically, and I suggest all like bigger guys do it. It's called I think it's cystatin K.
Yep.
Or cystatin C. Is it cystatin C? C, yeah. Cystatin C. That apparently is supposed to give you the most accurate kidney reading, because guys like us, like when you carry more muscle, your creatinine number or your GFR number is not always accurate. So I guess cystatin C is supposed to be the most accurate count of what your kidneys are doing.
And get an EKG once in a while.
Yeah. I had a calcium score done.
You had one? I've had one.
Can I ask you guys? This is really weird to me. So I did an angiogram.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know what an angiogram is, it's where they shoot a dye into your veins and it goes through your heart and they see what arteries are clogged or not. So I did an angiogram probably 4 years ago, and I had a 40% blockage in one of the small arteries that, like, the doctor's like, it doesn't matter. I don't know if arteries don't matter, but he's like, it's not dangerous. But I'm always curious how my angiogram could see a 40% blockage.
Your EKG didn't.
My calcium score, which measures like blockages, is fucking 0.
I'm not sure.
I'm like, how does that match up?
No, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know.
Okay. What bodybuilder has the most chance to be a pro at a different sport? Hypothetically speaking, love the dynamic of the podcast. Keep me coming. What pro has the best chance of being a pro at a different sport?
Well, wasn't Patrick at high level?
Anything.
When we say Phil Heath, because he's played basketball in college?
Basketball,
yeah. Phil was basketball, and I think Patrick was a decent boxer, right?
Patrick Moore. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Patrick Moore, Phil Heath. I guess both. Anybody else?
Who else? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's tons, but
didn't Dusty play hockey?
Sure. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of bodybuilders pretty high level, like college athletic backgrounds, and then
I think a ton of came from track and field backgrounds, because I hear this, like, this is the most common I see is track and field backgrounds or football backgrounds.
Yeah, football is a lot. I hear that one a lot. What's your favorite meal to cook at home in the off season? You guys aren't foodies. You're probably like chicken and rice.
I don't fucking know. Salmon. I like salmon. Salmon rice.
Ben?
Yeah, salmon and rice.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because like the fats from the salmon get into the rice and mix it all together. That's good.
I'm like pasta and meat sauce. Fuck that shit.
Oh, I'm not a big pasta guy.
No?
I mean, I like it, but it's not like, I don't like ground meats a ton.
Really? I survive on ground meat in the off season.
Although I'm eating a lot of ground bison at the minute, and that's the ground bison with rice is like easy to eat.
Whenever I don't feel like eating ground chicken breast, like I used to buy the trays of chicken breast and grind them up myself.
Yeah.
Whenever I don't feel like eating ground meat, for some reason, I can just smash, 8-10 ounces, no problem.
Yeah, no, I used to be like that where I just mix it in the rice, but now I find it like really monotonous. I kind of like to separate a little more. So.
What is your opinion of blended protein powders? How often do you recommend doing a 4-week mini cut when bulking? Those 2 different questions.
Yeah, that's super.
What is your opinion of blended protein powders?
So what do you mean blended? Like a mixed way?
Well,
because some
people do like a mixed way. Some people do concentrate, or there's even blends where they'll do like a casein with a.
No, I understand. Sorry, I know what a mixed protein is. I meant, like, did he mean in a blender or like a mixed protein?
No, I think he means like a blended, like a mixed supplement.
Sure. I mean, like, I would always vouch for an isolate first, but I mean, they're fine. Yeah. I mean, if it's not causing you digestive distress, I don't see a huge issue with it.
I feel like it depends on your purpose. If you're looking for performance, then you want isolate. If you're looking for a meal replacement, then a blend is probably good for you.
Yep.
Denise just polite. She's like, "Oh, I need to come up to the kitchen. I'm really sorry. Is it okay?" I'm like, "It's your fucking house. It's your house. Do what you want." Fucking.
Is it okay to be hungry during the off season?
I mean, sure, but that means you have more room for food.
Yeah.
If you're not growing, you know why.
Fouad, I had a discussion with a friend about deadlifts, not stiff leg deadlifts, because he says that deadlifts build the whole back, traps, mid traps, and lat, and in my experience, they don't. I just feel the erectors, low back and lower body working. Would like to hear your opinions on this. Well, you guys are both deadlift kings compared to me. So why don't you guys tell me?
Every single person is built differently. Everyone's anatomical structure is different. Ian and I can do the same movement, and I'll feel it somewhere slightly different to him, and vice versa. You know.
Okay, but is there? Okay, I know. Okay, I agree with you 100%. But
is it just target on the erectors? In my opinion, no.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it in general when you're talking about a deadlift? It's not going to work just your erectors.
Put it this way: I've deadlifted what I think 800 pounds or whatever it is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I've deadlifted a lot of weight, like regularly for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And I don't have a good back, but I have really good spinal erectors. Most of my back development is in my spinal erectors.
Yeah, but that's not. So, but that's not a fair assessment, because that's like saying Johnny Jackson squats 800 pounds, so squats don't work because he has small legs.
No, but what I'm saying is Luke did deadlifts and was doing 800 pounds year in, year out, and his back was insane. So what I'm saying is it's an individual response. So you can't, like, a movement will work for one person. It doesn't mean it's going to work for the next person.
Okay, but wait a minute, Ben. When we're giving advice like this on the podcast, there is never a definite answer. Like, I've had Chris Tuttle on the podcast, or like a number of coaches, right? And all of them, when they're talking about definite answers, will say there's no definite answer because everybody's different. But when we're on a podcast, we're trying to give a generality. I'm trying to get people to think. I'm not.
I don't want to give them a book.
Well, no, because I wanted
to think. Okay, there's other ways to do things. I don't have to do it that way.
No. I agree.
Because Fouad does, and it worked for him.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in general, deadlifts will work your entire back. For some people, that may not be the case. That's probably
right. But I think a lot of your listeners fall into the category of not everything's working for them.
Why do you say that?
Because
you think more people than less get full back development from a deadlift?
No, you're missing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's a lot more amateurs out there than there are pros.
Yeah, of course.
And there's a lot more amateurs out there which are struggling to develop their back, but they're still doing the hard work and they're still doing the deadlifting, and their body's not responding. So my point is if you're doing all the hard stuff and you've been doing it progressively for years and years and years, and you didn't get the same development that a top pro did doing a heavy deadlift.
But why are you assuming that these people are all deadlifting and aren't making progress? Where does that come from?
I didn't say that.
No, you're just giving a generalization. Yeah.
I'm saying this guy, obviously, he's having a debate with his friend, and one of them feels it and one of them doesn't. Well, the one that doesn't feel it, that movement might not be the movement for you to develop your whole back.
So yeah, neither of them are wrong, is what he's saying.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And you're trying to give one answer.
Well, I'm giving an answer like,
I don't feel T-bar rows.
If you said to me, wait a minute. If you said to me, do squats build legs? I'm going to say yes. I'm not going to say for some people.
But I'm going to say they don't for me, because they don't, relative to what I can squat.
Yeah, but you're not the majority.
No, okay. But
what I'm trying to do is give a macro answer, because we have 30,000 people listening. So I want to give a majority answer, right?
Right. You want me to do exactly the same and give the same answer as you then?
No. That's not what I want.
I'm therefore fulfilling the people that you're not answering. I'm giving them an alternative answer.
No, I think the answer is more nuanced than just it works back for everybody, or it's not going to work for some people. I think the truth is in the middle.
I gave the nuance answer.
No. Okay. Let's just move on.
This kid, you're watching this. What did I do?
The kid, obviously, me and Ben are having the same disagreement that him and his friend are having.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is certain exercises work for the majority of people. That's why they're built that way. That's why when you look on a chart and it says deadlifts and it says, what body part does it work? And it shows 3/4 of the back, because that's, for most people, that's what it works. So, when we're speaking in general terms,
look, you guys are just seeing this from a completely different angle. You're both right.
What I'm saying too is if I'm speaking to a room of 1,000 people, and the question is, will deadlifts build my back? Yes or no? I'm gonna fucking say yes.
Yes, but like how Ben's looking at it is that the kid that is having this discussion is saying that he is not feeling it building his back. He's just in his erectors. So for this specific person, what is the answer? The answer might be hey, let's try something different than deadlifts. It's not building your back. Try a different movement.
For that specific person, yes.
And to continue on from Ian, I would start him with a deadlift first.
Yes.
Okay. So you're a complete newbie. You've never worked in the gym. How do I build my back? Let's start with deadlifts, barbell rows, dumbbell rows, T-bar rows. We'll start with those. See how you get on for a couple of years. Guess what? My buddy Jimmy made crazy. His back's like this wide now. Mine hasn't grown. Okay, well, you need to try something different because
we're in agreement. We're in agreement there.
I know. I'm clarifying.
Yeah. We're in agreement there. I don't think anybody should just beat their head against the wall and do an exercise that's not working.
But what I'm seeing, and as a coach, I'm seeing this, right? I find there are a lot of bodybuilders out there that are married to movements because they see Ronnie Coleman squatting and deadlifting. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I feel like a lot of kids out there, and I'm coaching a lot of people, and like I see people wanting to adhere to the foundation basic core movements, and that's great. But at some point, you have to go, maybe that's not maybe that's not working for me after a certain period of time, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
I would agree.
Here's the answer. Let Ian summarize. In general, the deadlifts build your entire back? Yes. If you're someone that's doing deadlifts and you're not feeling it in your entire back, maybe they're not for you. Try something different.
I fucking said that like 10 minutes ago.
Move on.
Okay. Do you take any consideration of EAA supplementation in your protein intake for the day?
No.
Okay.
Because it's not protein.
Would you rather be a movie star or a rock star?
Movie star.
I think rock.
I don't know.
You know how
personality. If I was a rock star, I'd be fucking hooked on coke and dead in like a year or so.
I was an extra. I was an extra on the Justice League.
Yeah.
Right. Fuck that. The days are so savagely long.
My sister works for the casting agency that does stuff for Netflix, so she casts like on-screen roles that don't like necessarily have lines for Netflix. And like, I know some of the people, like I know sometimes can be a shit job, but if you're talking about being Brad Pitt versus being like, a top rock star, I would take the top end movie star for sure.
But they're still doing like, so even if you're Brad Pitt, if you go into, say you're doing a role that's where you're like 60 years old and you're actually 40, you're going to makeup at like 3 a.m. in the morning.
Okay, and you think going on tour where you're like every day on a bus, like
wait. I just have one question.
Well, it's like a frat house, right? You're just drinking and boozing and
exactly. When I don't want to do it, I'd fucking kill myself.
Wait, can I be The Rock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
He's a movie star. You win.
That's all. That's it.
That's the answer. Be The Rock. Done.
I'm just trying to piss off Ben.
It's a man crush on The Rock. I swear to God.
And I want to be The Rock too.
I want to be The Rock too. See? Ian knows.
Just not in a political arena.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not that.
None of this political nonsense.
How to be consistent even in bad situations. The answer I needed the most reasons. What? How to be consistent even in bad situation. The answer I needed the most reasons not having enough money, family situations like that. I don't think he speaks English. It's like really worded really weird.
He's just saying like, how do I stay consistent when I'm like short on money and like having family?
Yeah.
You just find a way, man. Like there's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. If you're having issues with money, then obviously you need to, adjust your diet and things, to the cheaper foods, getting the bulk jasmine rice, getting the, discount ground beef or chicken or whatever. You need to work around in the best ways you can. Obviously,
there's a bunch of like shopping videos on YouTube.
There's a YouTube
on the budget.
That's builder on a budget.
There's a YouTube video on this guy Fouad Abiad's channel. It's meals under $3, and that's $3 Canadian, so it's like $1 American. Go watch that video. You can make fucking all your meals will be under $3 for the day.
But I also have this like with young kids, get a job. Like, didn't Jason Hart go and work in the kitchen so he could get some food?
Yeah. Well, I always used to say that too. People would be like, "Man, how do you work and compete?" And I was like, "I found a job that was bodybuilding friendly."
Exactly.
So, like, if you work in a factory, they give you a break every 2 hours usually, even if it's only a 15-minute. You can slam a shake or whatever, and then you have lunch. You can eat a meal, whatever. So I could always
when I started, I worked at like Popeyes at a supplement store. Conducive to bodybuilding.
Or when I was bouncing, they would just put my fucking shakes in the fridge.
Yeah.
And I would just grab a shake and stand at the front door and drink my fucking shake. Like, just find a thing that's friendly to what you want to do. And as far as your family goes, fuck, man, sometimes they have to suck it up. They don't like it too fucking bad.
Yep.
My family didn't like it when I started, and I was like, look, this is what I'm doing, whether you like it or not. So, have you ever thought for a second while watching porn, wow, the dude has big legs?
During porn, I don't think so.
We're watching different porn at this stage.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I think I might have done that at some point.
Really?
Unless.
Yeah, I think it was like his calves or something. I was like, that guy's got good calves.
You see some guys that are like crazy peeled because, I mean, like they fucking train and fuck all day. So, I mean, they get good shit. But that's about it.
That's a great question.
Also, isn't it like
I got a really good story about that I can't tell. It's a fucking awesome. I'm sorry, I know, but I can't tell it. But anyway, okay.
Surely, if you're a porn star, you want your legs to be a bit smaller just for relativity.
Probably.
Yeah, make your shit look bigger.
I mean, unless you've got the luxury of like a fucking 12-inch dong, and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This guy clearly had this situation happen right to him. And
the
question box, he's like, this is a good question.
I got to know if they do it too. Yeah. Do you have any fun college memories for the time you were there?
Oh, geez.
I was hungover most of the time.
I don't know, man. I was drunk all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was drunk or hungover. I don't know.
When you guys talk about being on 40 grams of carbs a day, is that the weight or is it the macros?
That's the macros.
The macros, right? Yeah, of course. You mentioned previously not competing anymore. Hope you're. I don't want to cover this anymore. Can you go over the health detox supplements, vitamins, minerals you take, and why? I'll have to do a whole video about that. It's actually
that's a big question.
Yeah. What is the toughest workout you remember being put through? Do you guys remember anything like that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I did one that was like it was a strength and conditioning one, and they were teaching us like deadlifting and different ways to develop the deadlift, and we end up doing like pauses halfway up the shin, then pauses at the mid shin. Yeah. And I was a fucking wreck after that.
It's funny, the hardest one I remember wasn't bodybuilding. It was before when I used to run, and that's the only one that sticks out in my mind.
Yeah, mine was when I played soccer too. Mine wasn't in bodybuilding either.
Yeah, I did one. I remember one workout we did, and we did this pretty often, where you do 100 meters full out sprint, and then you'd walk back and the 100 meters and do 100 meters full out sprint. And we did that like 30, 35 times.
Yeah.
So like, that was like deadly, you know?
We did the same thing, but we go like, we'd do 100 and then walk 300. Then we do 200, then walk 200. Then we do 300, then walk 100. And then you work up and then pyramid all the way back down. And that's fucking game over. You're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. The worst for me was just a soccer tournament. The first time I used to play soccer when I was younger. I think I was like 13 or something like that, or 12. I don't remember, but I remember playing soccer for like 3 days straight. It was like 2 or 3 games a day. And by the end of the weekend, I remember laying in bed and it felt like my legs were just beat the fuck up. I couldn't move, just destroyed. So, but no, nothing in bodybuilding though.
No.
Views on a vertical leg press. I feel more than a normal leg press.
Yeah, I mean, they're okay. I mean, sometimes I feel the groove of them good. I mean, I find the bigger you get, the more uncomfortable the vertical leg press gets. Yeah. You know, like the bigger you are and the more meat is all squishing together like that. That sounded weird, but you know what I mean? When everything's squished together like that, you know, it gets a little tougher to get a good range of motion, really feel it. But I definitely enjoy them and feel it good, yeah.
I feel like it's a better hamstring movement than it is a quad movement.
Yeah.
I would be there, yeah.
I agree with both of you, but the thing Ian I agree with is the bigger I got, the bigger my stomach got. Mm-hmm. Like just bending in half became like, okay, I'm like, okay, my back is really fucking bent right now.
But even for me, like stomach aside, just the discomfort of just muscularity being in there.
Yeah.
It's much more uncomfortable.
Yeah. Let's see. Don't you get anxious when you think about all the steroids you've done and all the abuse? And do you think you could have done your crazy career without it? No. There's no way this career would have been possible without it.
Yeah.
Do you guys get nervous or anxious about all the steroids you've done?
I mean, obviously I have times where I think I'm like, shit, you know, like how much time have I taken off my life? And it's a thought I'm sure we've all had, but is this something I focus on daily or that I regret per se? Not necessarily, no.
You know, it's crazy. I find it like, you know, I know people who are fucking drug addicts. I know people who are fat fuck like food addicts.
Yeah.
and they just abuse their bodies, either whether it's alcohol or drugs or food,
whatever. Yeah.
And I feel like these people are going to live longer.
Yeah.
And like, how does that make sense? Because
I have a buddy. This is funny. I have a buddy who's like the ultimate like drink all the time, cocaine cowboy on the weekend. You know, smoke cigarettes, all this, and he got blood work done once, and his blood work was pristine, like better than better. It was like everything was mid-range, perfect. But then like you can run like a cycle of tests and like fuck your blood levels up. You know, it's like
is it the test itself or is it the size? You think, Ian?
I mean, I've both, because I mean, I'm sure if you got like a middleweight bodybuilder pumped full of gear, I'm sure his blood work would still not be great. You know, like mine as I've got bigger hasn't got worse. Mine's actually improved because I've got smarter, but you know, it gets more hard to manage for sure. You know?
Yeah, my cycles now are far less than they were when I was trying to get up.
Yeah.
You know?
So I was talking to a coach about one of the ways that I like to diet, and one of the things I never considered. So I've always been the kind of person that likes to diet really, really hard and then reward myself like with a cheat meal on Saturday night or something, right? Yeah. And sometimes the cheat meals are like hardcore. So what he said to me was, your system works for getting in shape, but it's also the hardest on the body.
What is?
That system of like depletion and then spike in and depletion.
It's extremes, right?
So he's like the proper way to do things is to keep things as moderate as possible, even though it's not as exciting or fun, or you don't get to have binge days or whatever. He goes, what you've done worse than anything is not the steroids. It's not the size, but it's the fluctuation and the extremes from one to another.
Funny, I never thought about that, but you know, that is probably one of the most direct correlations I can think of, things that I've been better with and more consistent with, and that have also coincided with improvement in my blood work.
Yeah.
You know, when I was younger, like Ben said, you know, when I was younger, obviously I did more silly things because I didn't know as much, you know, and you don't have that like realization of mortality that you have as you get older. But I would also like, you know, I'd fucking crush down hard for shows. I'd post show, I'd eat like crazy and bounce up 30 pounds in 2 days.
Yeah.
You know, and my blood work post show, I've always had pretty good blood work, but you know, I would see more of a detriment to it then versus when now I'm very even keel. After shows, I usually only come up, you know, like it takes me months to get up 15, 20 pounds versus like in a week, you know. I stay on diet. I come down very slowly for shows, and I've noticed a big improvement in my overall, you know, health markers from that.
Okay, so if you started, I always attribute my philosophies on diet to Chad, because the first real coach I had was Chad, and Chad's very extreme. Yeah. In a sense that he'll deplete you really hard, and then he'll give you like a day off to go eat whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
So I attribute my philosophies now to that being like what I first learned. If you were that way when you started, what is it that kind of has pulled you back?
That's a good question. You know, I think it's just me as a person. I've never really got too attached or stuck to any one philosophy. You know, I've worked with a couple different coaches. You know, it was not one thing I particularly got stuck to. I mean, the first real coach I worked with was Greg. And, you know, you don't really get stuck to like the eating protein pancakes and protein pudding. You know, it's not something as a pro bodybuilder you really get attached to.
Yeah.
And then after that, I worked with Dennis, who was pretty even keel, with Matt, who was pretty even keel. So I never had any like, you know, drastic, you know, coaching methods introduced really. I mean, I guess the most drastic would have been Greg, and that was something I didn't really get attached to. So
do you find it, can I ask you, do you find it hard? Because I know Greg's philosophy is basically like, you don't have to eat chicken and rice and you can eat all these different things.
Sure.
I've always been curious. Do you find it hard going from like Greg's kind of eat a variety of foods?
No, eating Greg, and look, hey, I'm not going to shit on Greg because
No, I'm not shitting on him at all. I'm just asking.
No. Well, what I'm saying here, and it's funny because for most people, I actually think it's the opposite. When I worked with Greg, eating the fun foods and like that made me crave food and made it harder for me, not easier.
Yeah, I find that too.
But when I switched to regular food, I had less cravings during my diet. I had a way easier time. I was less hungry. You know, I found it was a lot easier for me. And I know that's not the case for everyone. I know a lot of people prefer having those like kind of, you know, cool foods to have in. It keeps them from eating and cheating, you know, binging on their diet.
Yeah.
For me, it did the complete opposite. Like Melissa confessed this. When I worked with Greg, I was like, I was peeled out of my mind, but I was like starving, like so.
Always looking for something. Yeah.
Oh my God, man. I was like trying to fucking smoke cigarettes to curb my appetite. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was so hungry all the time. And this was when I worked with Greg, man, I did almost zero cardio. So just from the diet, I was that hungry, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I can attest to that. I can totally attest to like having a little bit of sugar, even if it's from fruit.
Yeah.
And it making you want to have more sugar. And then, yeah.
You know, I spoke to you in the hospital front, and I was like, there's that carrot cake. And I know, because I had to call my meals with me. Like, Denise woke me up at 3, and I bought a bunch of Mega Fit meals because I knew that once, so I could just pick them up, put them in a cooler bag, and take 16. I literally took 16 Mega Fit meals to the hospital with me.
Yeah.
And they bought Denise a tray of food, and there was like a little piece of carrot cake on there. And I was like, I could get away with that. But I knew I didn't eat it because I know what I'm like. As soon as I had that one piece, I'm like, all bets are off. Fuck it.
You turn the tap on.
Yeah, like, so I didn't eat it, and I haven't come off diet like since.
I mean, and also, I mean, and this is going back to the question about the, you know, where you were saying with your blood work and going up and down, blah, 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 and the effect on, you know, when I worked with Greg post-show, because I was so hungry, then when the show was done, I went fucking bananas, you know, which like now when you talk to me now, that seems very uncharacteristic of me. You know, I'm a very like, stick to the diet, not a foodie, this kind of thing. Then it was a completely different thing because the foods I was eating that made me want it. So post-show then, like I would have crazy like weeks where I eat like Burger King, McDonald's 5-6 meals a day, you know?
That sounds so good.
I mean, it was awesome, but I had like edema in my ankles. I couldn't stand for more than 10 minutes, you know?
If they ever
this is therapy for Fouad, by the way.
Yeah.
What is, I'm learning. I'm trying to learn.
You're trying to justify like, oh, what, like, you're trying to figure it out.
I'll be like, well, I'm like, Ian did it, so fuck it. But okay.
Hey man, I'm gonna have to wrap it up, by the way.
Okay, we'll do one more. One more.
Yeah.
Okay, one more. Let's see. What would you recommend doing the day after? Let's skip that cheat meal stuff. Let's go to something better. Will it hurt your physique to? Nope. Don't want that one. Is eating ass anabolic? Let's see. I can't find a good question here to end off the thing with. Okay. I'm just going to flip through and pick one. Ready? Here. Do you slightly bump calories to maintenance once the site's on Chicago? Well, that's not going to count. Jesus Christ. Okay. Is it hard to get a pump when dieting and being at low single-digit body fat numbers?
It can be harder, but I mean, I think you can change that a lot with like sodium intake, water intake, stuff like that.
Okay, wait, I got a better one.
Okay.
Who in the industry would you choose to be your mom and dad?
Wow, that's a good question.
Well, Fouad's granddad.
Yeah. I feel like you're a very dad guy, Fouad.
Yeah.
I've been getting that a lot
lately.
Yeah.
This is why he's got father.
The higher your beard goes up on your cheeks, the more I feel that.
I'm not that fucking old. Why am I getting this dad thing more and more lately? I am actually kind of proud of it.
Well, because you have this like authority thing now, you know, like you're like a bodybuilding authority. You have the channel that people respect. You know, people look at you for honesty and good advice. It's a very dad kind of like, people look to you like they look their father, like for fatherly, like, you know. And you have a very soothing voice. You have a good podcast voice, so it's
the new microphone. You see this shit? I got a new microphone.
It's a dad voice, you know.
All right.
So who's the mom then?
Who's the mom?
Oh, who's a good mom, babe?
I'm having my first female guest. Well, actually, it's not my first female guest. My first female pro guest on her by herself, because I had Melissa on, but she was on with Ian. So I have the first female guest on next week. The problem is, it's episode.
Who it is?
I can't tell you who it is. The problem is, it's episode number 69, and I don't want to put a woman on episode 69 because people are just going to make dumb jokes the whole time. So I think I got to switch it and move it to the next one.
Maybe make her episode 70 or 68.
Yeah. I don't know who the mom would be though. Who's a good mom?
I don't know. Like you get like a fucking Nicole Wilkins mom, kind of like, you know.
Nicole Wilkins is a good mom.
She's a mom mode, and she's having a baby right now. She's full tank in the oven, you know.
There's not really an outspoken woman, is there?
Denise is IFBB pro, and she's my son's mom, so I'm picking her.
There you go.
Good, yeah. All right. You know what? We'll wrap it up. I know Ben's got to go, so it's all good. Listen, guys, thanks for coming on. I spent a couple hours. I appreciate it. We'll get together next week.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
All right,
Thanks,
boys.
guys.
Take it easy. Bye.
Happy birthday, Fouad.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share with your friends, and like the video. And if you get a chance, check out the description for all the different links to all the different places you can find Hostile and myself. And lastly, check out hostile.com for our new line of supplements and all of our apparel and gear. Thanks again for watching.